All right, we are recording.
Woo!
Yeah, we're back. This is
Yes.
LéTania Severe. She, her pronouns. I'm with King County Equity Now's research team, and we have another episode of our podcast today. I'm joined
Yay.
by Shaun Glaze, they, them
Yes.
pronouns, also
Yes.
with King County Equity Now's research team, and we're bringing you some more information about the research project and what's going on around the city. Shaun,
Yes.
should I guess I'll start with a little bit of what happened today or yesterday. Yeah, you'll be getting this in the morning, but this is August 5th. Today was a big day, a lot happening.
Yes.
So it was a great march and rally out to from the youth jail over to City Hall. That was a great event. I was out there, saw a lot of people out there. It was a great turnout. I think we really showed the city where we stand on these demands, and I think they were listening to some of it.
Yeah.
Not all, but that's cool. You know, we're moving in the right direction. City Council unanimously passed some of the cuts that we specifically requested in the blueprint, which is awesome.
Right.
That means that everybody voted in favor. It's a veto-proof majority was met. So the mayor cannot veto them. This is great because it really shows that they've been listening to your emails, to your calls, your public comment, and just being out in the street and doing the work behind the scenes. And so we appreciate all that work that everyone's been doing. We can't let up, though. There's still so much work to be done. There's more voting happening on Monday. And then in a few weeks, we'll be rolling right into the 2021 budget process. So
Yes.
this is an ongoing fight. We gotta keep it up, keep the pressure on. Shaun, you want to add anything about the what the history that was made today?
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, so I can tell you as someone who's like able to listen in for at least part of it real time, my mouth was dropping. Like they would say like not just like their vote, but their rationales for it. And they would like a few city council members would say things like, you know, like how personally and collectively they have totally dropped the ball in the past in terms of how the money has been spent or how carefully or not carefully like the different the SPD budget tracking has been. And like just like to me, when I think about what it takes to be able to really recognize harm that's being done and move in the right direction, like I need you to say, I messed up. I messed up recently, and like we as a group have been messing up for a long time. I need you to say like very specifically what you messed up, what you're going to do about it. And like now, I don't know what you're going to do in the future. I felt like I heard those things by so many council members, you know, as they put in what their votes were. So I just want to say to me, that was really like great steps in the right direction. And 100% what LéTania said, like it definitely made a difference. Like everything that you're doing is making a difference and is bringing this into reality. And that's just like, super incredible.
That's right. Yeah, don't forget that like this what's happened, what city council is doing is because of you, what you've been doing. This is the movement did this, not this isn't just them figuring, you know, oh we were harmful in the past, we've been harmful in the present, we need to stop doing that. No, you told them that. People spoke about their personal experience and their family members, their friends, their community. And I think that what's amazing is that it seems like, you know, some people, they actually listened and they were thoughtful in how they looked at the demands that were made and the recommendations that were put in the blueprint, and actually listened to what community was saying. And I think that was because community just kept saying it in every type of way that you can say it, whether it be your public comment, Twitter, marching, all of those things have had an impact, and we couldn't have done it without everybody putting in the work.
Yes. And so we have to keep doing it. I know we're going
Yep.
to say that for a while,
I
but
know.
actually,
I know.
but Monday is like a big deal because that's when they're going to vote on the research part, as well as more of the community scale up part, like the things that are going to make the summer fall research process real. That's Monday. So between
Yeah.
now and Monday, just kind of keep it up.
Keep it
You
up.
know, tell them about themselves, like whatever. Be
Yep.
like, hey, it's time to get right.
Yep.
So yeah, so I'm just like really proud of every single one of y'all, and we're all tired, but like we're gonna get
So tired.
there. Yeah, like let's spend a little time talking about some of the things we're hearing from community. Like I know you've had conversations with folks, and you had some teach-ins, and you've had a teach-in, I've had a teach-in since the last podcast. So I think people might want to hear about what folks are saying. I can go first, even though it's a reverse chronological order,
Yeah,
and
go
share
for it.
some of the stuff I'm hearing. So tonight we did a teach-in. This one's a good sized group. And I think, big picture, like, I'm not going to like name names or anything like that. I like to try to give people their privacy, as much as they might want it for these teach-ins. But I will say that, some of the things that stood out to me is just the way that, white supremacy, operates, and how we're so used to having to live through it is like totally showing up in some of the types of questions that I'm hearing a lot of, or the concerns people have. So like I'll give you some concrete examples. One way that white supremacy culture works, especially in research, is a group of people kind of top down decide everything about how the research will work, and then at like the very last minute they'll like sprinkle some color on it, right? So like you'll have this whole thing where it's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna do research, we already decided the questions, the analysis, the reporting, the deliverables, who we're gonna ask, where they're gonna be, what we're gonna find, more or less. And we just wanted...
we already know the answers. We pretty much already know the answers and the solutions too.
And the solutions and the recommendations.
Yeah.
But we just want like, a couple hours of your time to be like,
we talk to
community,
we got to get some community in here, which could be really
specific.
No, they're not being specific. No, they would not say Black people. They would say community. They would not
say Black people.
Yeah, you got to ask them. Then you got to ask them, like, who was community? Who'd you talk to?
Who'd you talk to? And they're like, I have to look at my notes. I talk to people of color. Which people of color?
Seriously.
I didn't collect that data. I couldn't tell you. They were all kind of brownish.
We didn't collect race data while we were doing that part.
Oh, God. That is so relatable. So many times. So people are used to that. So when you're like, we're actually developing this with community, like, yes, there's a framework. Yes, there's like, planning and strategy and resources and supports that are being created. You will not have to fly by the seat of your pants to do this. But actually, like, the people who are doing this research will be developing the questions, will be developing the analysis, will be, just like every step of this, you're going to be doing it. And people are just like, what, for real? Like, I thought, I thought you'd pick the orgs, or I thought all the researchers were already decided and maybe you just needed some help and support. And you're just like, no. You were in the right place to get in on this, like, early enough to shape, the texture of the work, what it's going to look like, what it's going to, taste like. So anyway, that's one big thing. The second big thing is, the way that white supremacy culture kind of like comes into research is you'll have groups, you'll have orgs, you'll have communities that have had to align themselves with the status quo to survive, right? So it's just like, maybe like a good example is you'll have a group that's like, we don't really believe that this is the most effective way for us to support our community. But in order to like get this grant money, or in order to get access to these like buildings or resources or people, we have to do it this way. I know it's not ideal, but that's what's required for us to survive and get like the resources we need. And so, when like, so that's what people are used to. So when you talk to them and you're just like, so yeah, we don't want to do any of that. Like,
no, we don't
want to
do
do any of that. Like, we just intentionally designed it in mind to like not have that like happen and be part of like what goes on. They're like, what? I don't have to do that. And you're like, nah. And they're like, oh, that's cool. I like that.
We want you to be you.
Yes.
And that's why we want you.
Yes. So that's been really cool. And then I think the third piece is just, I don't know, like there's sort of like a couple of different pieces here, but I guess I'll say like the third way that sort of white supremacist culture and like and how research has been done in other places, and then like what we're doing is different, is, so we already talked about how like it's not like everything's decided already, you're just kind of icing on this cake, and it's not like you have to fight each other for resources and like figure it out, and it's also like very thoughtful about like relationships and community and like what's the best way to connect to each other. So for some people, when they meet and talk to me, they feel like it's really important to say, I read the blueprint. I studied it very hard. I read every single word. You know, like I'm a good researcher. Like I can do them. Just like you don't have to read that 13-page document. Like you don't have to do that. Like you can just talk to me and we can just like meet each other where we're at, connect in the ways that feel like comfortable and normal. Because I don't know about you, but I don't walk around just handing people like 13-page documents to like communicate. Like it's just not how I mean, I do that sometimes, but like not as my default.
You're like, I have this really cool report I wrote. You should read it.
You want to read it? Yeah, no. As someone who does write a lot of reports, knowing that no one will read them.
No one will read them.
No one will read them. Even like the things that win like awards and shit. Like no one's gonna read this.
There were maybe like one or two people who read that thing.
Yeah, totally. So I think that's another way that's a big departure. And so it's been really cool. We're gonna keep meeting with community, up until the 9th to get people, situated. What happened in your like teach-in and your conversations this week? Anything stand out to you?
Well, I think, continuing on how white supremacy shows up, I hear people say like, we've already told them, what we need for public safety, it's this research has been done, and we're like, yeah, we know. we know that this is like in the past, when you're working with government or like anything that's not community led, you have these individuals who come in, and they want to ask all these questions so they can say they did it. And then like you were just saying, it's a report that really just sits on a shelf. And then like a few years later, they're like, man, we should probably ask community what would be great for public safety. Like I've seen this, like I've worked in the county and I've worked for the city. And
I think we've both been in these roles before.
Yes.
Where it's like
you're just like, I'm like, I know I just got here. I only worked here 6 months, but I do know that your office has already done this research. Why are you doing it again? They're like, well, we didn't actually do any of the things that we got from that research, so we should probably do it again. Yeah. And so people ask about that, and it's like, I'm like, you know what? That is true. And I think a lot of all the stuff that has been said will be reiterated. But now that information is going to be brought out by community researchers, talking with community individuals in a variety of ways, whatever, we're meeting people where they're at. If they want to sit down and have like a formal or somewhat formal interview, cool. If they just want to have like a focus group or just a, an event where they get people together to just have some small groups, whatever the format is, we're leaving that up to the individuals involved. And then that information will sit with the community researchers who will then take that information and analyze it, synthesize it, and come up with a plan. Because it's in our hands. It's not in some government agency's hands. We have to just give our information away and have them to decide if they should spend some time to even consider implementing any of it. So that's where this is different. And I think that, I described it earlier as like people have this PTSD from all the previous research, but really it's just white supremacy, showing up all around. And, that's what we expect, especially when you hear research, because a lot of times it's not community led and it's not true community voice. And that's what we strive to be different at here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we were talking this morning. I don't remember if we were on the podcast because you and I, seems like we're talking a lot.
We talk multiple times a day.
We do.
I'm like, oh my God, it's been 4 hours. I need to call Shaun.
And it's always getting shit done too, right?
Yeah.
It's never just like, hey, let's shoot the shit.
That's right. We got more work to do.
Got so much work to do. But like Tuskegee, right? We were talking about Tuskegee, and we're talking about like the relationship between research and community, and how, like you're saying, like there's trauma there in terms of like how government has operated, and like especially with Black folks. And it's true for other communities too, Indigenous folks, people of color, etc. But like, especially, I'm going to speak specifically to Black folks because I'm Black. Speak with that on authority.
That's right.
And so, like, I think one of the things that we're really, really thinking through, not just in terms of the cookbook, but like as we're hearing stories, is like you hear people explicitly name the trauma that it is to be like, people pretend that they care what you have to say, and then they like don't follow up with it, or like they don't listen. This process, the blueprint, is designed intentionally to inform budgeting priorities for the next biennium, so the next like 2 years worth of budget. Like that formal process, this research it feeds into. So it's not just doing research for research's sake. Now it's like, well, what are those funding priorities going to be? Community. And it's like, let us tell you. It's also going to feed into police contracts. Negotiations happen this year. So I just want to be really clear that there's a lot of, thought and care and strategy and conversation and like brilliance from so many different folks, like putting this together to make sure that the findings are not wasted, that it's going to be more of the same, that it's connected to formal and informal processes, that it's has a broad reach, that it's not narrowly focused on policing, because that's what people want to pigeonhole it into, but it's not. So it's been really, really cool to kind of, pick apart that and see people's eyes light up when you're just like, no, it doesn't have to be that way. They're like, what?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. It's really cool too, because the research, like we were saying before, a lot of times that research, it leaves the community, you give it to whoever came out to ask you questions, and then it goes off, and who knows, what, you have no idea what's going to happen. But we know that this research will be used to inform the budgeting process. And that is what it's for. It is, it's not just going to be there to sit there and then maybe, analyze and come up with something. No, it is actually going to be used for the budgeting process. And that's a very different way that things have been done. I know, at least here in Seattle. And so I think it's a really awesome opportunity for a community to just really have impact on the future.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially, and I know like everyone who's been listening knows this, but especially Black and Brown communities. Because like when I think about this, it's like, often what'll happen is, like you were saying, LéTania, people will be like, community, and then you're like, who are these community members? And then what do they look like?
Right.
Like, tell me, like, where
I don't remember.
Where are the people from? And they're like, oh.
Yeah. They talk to like one or two people, they found in some neighborhood. They can't tell you any background. You're just like, how did you pick them? Like, yeah, it's very.
Like, oh. We didn't write that down.
No, we don't know.
Why does that matter? You're just like, wow, really?
Right.
So anyway, I think those are the main things. A lot of wins, keep up the pressure. Big vote on Monday. Just keep it going. Like I'm hoping we all get a chance to take a couple of days to breathe. But
Fingers
like, yeah,
crossed. Fingers
fingers
crossed.
crossed. But yeah, keep it up. Tell them why this matters to you. Tell folks what you think. Tell us what you think. We're getting emails, we're getting calls, we're getting text message, we're getting people showing up in teach-ins, and we're using all this feedback to help craft this. So keep it coming.
For sure. Yeah, a lot of in the descriptions you'll find a link to the blueprint if you want to read it. Again, not required. And also a link for the teach-ins and just more information how you can get in contact with us, so that if you have any questions, you can email info@kingcountyequitynow.com, and a real person will answer that email, and they will get it to us if it's specific to the research or any questions that you have.
Yes, please. And definitely put research in the subject, because we are getting a lot more emails, and it makes it a lot easier for them to send it to the right person if they're like, oh, okay, cool. This is going to be, I know exactly where to send this.
Perfect.
Awesome.
All right.
I think we're going to sign off, right?
Yeah, that's it. All right. Well, thank you.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.